being open, being authentic, being honest with yourself, being honest with others, it's really what allows us to form that relationship on a deeper meaning, to form that connection, that human connection. Because if you're always fake with yourself, then you'll never be real with others.
Diary Talks
with Micol
and Andreas.
Today, I want to talk about Hey guys!
Welcome back
to another episode of Diary Talks. My name is Micol.
I'm Andreas.
And today we're going to talk about male vulnerability. So
now I just apologize if I have trouble speaking. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out yesterday. So yeah, just FYI.
That's why he looks like a chipmunk. But if you're listening on Spotify, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
So, nowadays we talk a lot about woman empowerment, woman vulnerability, how women should be at the level of men, and all these kind of things. However, we do forget sometimes, and I'm obviously totally pro and for it. However, we do forget sometimes that there's also another aspect to it, and there is a pressure of men, pressure of being a man. And that starts right from the beginning. The same pressure that is put to a girl, maybe more for her physical aspect, instead for a man is put more into his character and how he should act. Because men are considered to be strong, men are considered to be powerful, they should not cry, they shouldn't show their weaknesses, and they shouldn't show their vulnerability because it is considered a weakness. So today we're here to discuss this and actually understand why this is kind of the approach that we have, like with men, and also experiences that maybe you have lived without even realizing, because we just grew up with that.
Yeah.
So let's kind of give it a start. It was actually your idea to focus on this topic. Why? Did something spark it? Did you see something that made it happen, or anything that came up?
I mean, not really. It's just that I feel like we have a lot of different topics we talk about, and this is definitely a topic that I wanted to address because I saw an article the other day while scrolling through Instagram or something about how big men do cry, and like it sparked it. I was like, okay, like this could be an interesting topic for our podcast. And as we're trying to raise awareness and show others of things that do happen. And since we're young, maybe it could spark a change in younger people around us or younger people that listen to us, that it's okay for men to be vulnerable and it's okay for men to cry, and if you know me, I appear as a big hard-on when you first meet me, but I mean, she'll tell you that like I am a mushy cookie, I guess, and I have no fear to be vulnerable in front of those that I trust. That's important.
Of course,
because
it's
to me,
trust.
vulnerability is just about being honest and open, and it's what connects us to others. And you're basically accepting the fact that you are okay with your flaws and that you're not perfect and that you need help. And as we said in the bullying podcast, admitting that you need help is one of the greatest things that you can ever do.
By the way, it's not only accepting your flaws, but it's just knowing that it's normal. It's not a flaw if you're a nice guy. It's not a flaw if sometimes it happens that you cry. It's not a flaw. Like, it's just being human and normal. And the fact that you just said that as a flaw also shows us that we regard it as a flaw despite not being it. And actually, if I may add, I was reading a bit online also to understand a bit more, because personally, not being first a man, I didn't really know about the topic. And research demonstrates that men who are like more humble, nice at work, or as said, maybe show some like
Feeling.
crying or just like
Emotion.
emotion from that point of view, are considered less agentic and weaker than
Less what?
less agentic, like less no agentic.
Okay.
And considered weaker than men that actually don't show emotion. And
But that's so true. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
no.
like that's driven into our
and less
minds.
competent as well. Like when they're hiring like a person, a man in this case, they want to see strength. They want to see like not emotions from a
Masculinity.
Masculinity.
Basically, it's just grained into the minds that being masculine is not being anything but
It's not being
not
emotional.
showing them. Yeah, exactly. It's not being emotional, and that's a point of what we call a lot of people call toxic masculinity. But I don't agree with that. It's just that men from an early age they're told that being vulnerable, being open, being emotional is a weakness, and that they try from an early age they try to hide and they try to shield their fears, their insecurities, and basically it's creating more internal shame. And what I feel is like the more internal shame that you create, it actually depletes that power, depletes that confidence within you. So ultimately it's a paradox.
Yeah.
Because the more you try to shield it, the less strong, the less confident you're going to be.
Of course, exactly what you were saying. Other research proved that boys actually, at the age of 3, already start like kind of hiding their feelings. And the reason is, I'll just ask you
Yeah,
this.
go for it.
So did ever someone tell you boys don't
I read
cry?
this question. Yeah.
Boys don't cry. Yes.
Oh, no,
Did they ever tell you man up?
of course.
Okay. So don't be such a baby.
Yes, but I mean, I don't know if it had that effect, but like, yeah.
No, but still, I'm just gonna
Among
say,
brothers, yes, that happens all the time.
don't cry like a girl.
Yeah. No? That I don't remember.
Be a man, get over it.
Yes.
You throw like a girl.
No.
You're just too good.
Yeah. No one ever told me that. Like, I don't mean to be cocky, but no.
No, but these are things that we actually hear on a normal basis. It's something that we're truly not shocked if someone says, "Oh, come on, don't cry like a girl."
Yeah,
Or
which
like,
is like,
don't be a girl.
now thinking about it, it's like, it makes absolutely no sense. Because it's just like, instead of saying don't cry like a girl, just be like, hey, don't cry. Which is like, which you shouldn't be saying regardless. But okay, depends on the circumstance. You know, like if it's something that you shouldn't really be crying about, just why are you crying? You know?
Yeah, but still, like.
But the fact that it's actually said, like, hey, man up, like,
By
don't
the
cry
way,
like a girl, like, it's actually bringing a lot of things back. It's like, wow, okay, damn.
yeah, and you were told these things, but at the same time, it's also actually, if you think about it, it's degrading for both sexes.
Absolutely.
Because don't cry like a girl. I never really cried when I was little, when I fell or did anything. So like,
I laughed.
it degrades.
I laughed when I was
It
in
degrades both sexes. So we don't realize, but it's just we're mentally brought to doing that and saying those things just because of social norms.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And then the fact man up, what does that even
What does
mean?
it even mean?
You know? It's
Like,
just
you get it, what you I mean, of course.
Yeah, toughen up.
Yeah.
That's what
Be tough.
that's what it means. But you shouldn't. Like, it's not necessary to be tough to be a man. You know, and that's the misconception. We don't know.
Like, you can be
that.
the biggest man in the room, like, strongest, have the most muscles, but also be, like, the kindest, the most emotional, and that's what truly makes you a man. It's not all the muscles, it's really how you act, how your heart is, and
Not only a man, it's what makes you like
Human.
a human person and a good human person. We just don't realize and know. So did you ever experience this kind of discrimination? Do you know anyone who did? Or now that we're kind of talking about it and we read about it, did you see that and now you
I
realize?
mean, of course, growing up, being a boy, it's very competitive with the other boys.
Mhm.
You know, regarding if you, I mean, for me, I played a lot of sports when I was growing up, and it's you have a lot of competition. You want to be the best, and I think it's also this competitive nature in us men. It also exists in women, girls, but we always want to be the best because we always have that perception that we need to be at the top. We need to be the strongest. We need to be the most athletic. We need to be the best to be accepted.
Mhm.
You know, and so yeah, of course, going through trainings, you know, like there's points where you don't quit, and it's just coach is screaming, "Man up!" You know, like of course it happens. Have I ever experienced it otherwise, or have I seen other people experience this discrimination? It's hard to say because when you're at that age, you don't think about it like I do now.
You don't realize.
You don't realize anything because it's just ingrained into society.
May I say that also movies have a big effect on us and on the reason we think that? Because, for example, if you see all high school movies, the cool guys are all
the
the
jocks.
ones that are like all
The
fit, the super trained and
quarterbacks.
sporty ones, and those that maybe show some emotions are actually left behind. Now, things are starting to change because people are starting to realize with also this aspect of like girls and like the woman power, we're trying to balance it out. But still, if you also watch Disney movies and things like that, like it's all related to that. It's all showing you how should a man act and how should a woman act, and
When in
grow
reality,
up
who
with
decides?
that without knowing, you're just instilled with those things, and truly is why. Like, who decides I should be tough? I actually really like to cry. I want to cry all day. I want to be really emotional.
Yeah, I cried last week.
Yes, me too. So, hey, there's different things, and nobody should tell you what you should be. But unfortunately, social norms
Crying just allows you to feel,
brings you
and
to
it's
that.
and it's that allowing yourself to feel the emotions around you that just makes you human. It just keeps everything away from you for that 1 second. It's just like, okay, I'm accepting what's happening. I'm reacting to it in a humanly way, and it's just that allowance of yourself to feel is the most human thing you could ever do.
So now that we're talking about it, and maybe you realize that this kind of discrimination was put upon you, do you think that affected your character or what
Absolutely.
you're right now?
For sure. For sure. Like I was always very closed. I mean, I'm not gonna put any blame on anyone because it's one society, but it's also to your culture, and the culture you are is where your house is, what you lived in, and absolutely, like I grew up to be. I tried to be hard. I tried to be non-trusting. I tried to be not really open. I was very closed. I mean, I was open. I made a lot of friends. I was very sociable, but that's it. You know, I didn't let anyone in to an extent, and it took a while for me to be like, okay, you know, like maybe this isn't the right way, because I don't know. I mean, you could probably answer this question more than I can because you see it from an outside. But like in general, just being open increases like your intimacy with others, increases your closeness with others, and that's what I didn't understand until a couple of years ago.
Until me. Well, going back to what you just said, like I did see it in the sense that obviously from an outer perspective, what you see, you were the douchey with
Of course,
people.
because that's
People. That was his self-defense mechanism. Like
yeah, because exactly what you just said is like if you're douchey or considered an asshole or like that to the outside, people won't want to get to know you, you know, and sometimes guys especially use this as a self-defense mechanism because they don't want people to get too close because they're afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid of what people may think of them if they get to know the real them, and this is a really big deal, because sometimes the most douchey people are actually the nicest. They're just afraid.
They're just afraid. That's exactly it. And truth is, it's kind of sad because I'll go back to some data again. I don't know if you know that, but most suicides are men. Actually, 3.5 times more than women. Now, you go there and you're like, you ask yourself, why is that? Is there a reason? What we see is mostly women being like, having like issues maybe with their self-confidence and body-wise and everything. But truly, men have that aspect of the character of not letting go of emotions. And,
I just think that
they just keep it inside, if I may.
Yeah.
And then what happens, I mean, this is obviously based on research, is that they try to find another solution. Like, if I can't get my emotions out, first of all, relationships don't work. So if your emotions are not out, then it just doesn't work. You're not vulnerable. That's the whole point of being in a healthy relationship, is you can show your true self.
Yeah.
Point one. Point two, as people don't do that, men don't do that especially, they try to find other solutions. And that's why most men drink more than women. That's why most men or boys try drugs before the age of 12, like at the age of 12. And these are all kind of data. You're like, why? Why does that happen? Why doesn't, there's girls, there's exceptions and everything, but why is it mostly boys? And the reason is this kind of like, oh, I'm strong, I'm cool, I have to show off. Point one, I love to say it today apparently. And point two is, I'm trying to find something to escape from what I can't let go.
Exactly. I think they're on this seesaw of emotions, and it's I was reading in a relationship, it's part of them is like, okay, what do I think my partner is here for me, or like what is she here for me for, or the actual reason why she's here, and or he is here, and there's just this constant just going back and forth about like just a lot of things in the mind, and as you said, vulnerability is pivotal in relationships. It's just it's like one of the most important things, and I think that's why our relationship is so strong, if I may say.
Let's hope it'll last.
Is because we're not afraid to tell each other how it is. If there's something bothering us, we say it. If we want to cry, we cry. She cries a lot when she's angry, and
so that's just a thing that happens. I am angry and I just cry as a reaction.
And I'm just going to go on my notes
anger.
here because I had to do some also research because I want to kind of be more knowledgeable about this. And it's just like, it increases the connection and intimacy in relationships. It cultivates your trust. It enhances your growth and change because it just lays a foundation of personal change. Because if you're not afraid to show or to tell about your insecurities, then you won't be afraid to tell the partner because you won't be afraid that they're going to make fun of you. So it allows you to personally grow and personally change if you need to change. It boosts confidence because it makes you feel comfortable with your imperfections, and it actually strengthens our sense of self because it basically tells us not to pretend that everything is okay. It strengthens our humanity because being vulnerable, being emotional is human. It's what connects us to all of us, and you can't be human without being vulnerable. And lastly, it increases love because being open emotionally, physically, and mentally just naturally increases love in a relationship. And as you can see, just being open, just being honest, and vulnerability, we didn't actually say what it is. Because there's so many meanings. There's so many meanings that I just wrote down a little bit, and these are the ones that I kind of noted down. And it's about being courageous and taking a risk to change, because that's admitting that you need to change, which is big. It's communicating difficult feelings because a lot of men have a tough time communicating feelings. It's asking your partner about their worries and fears because that's basically showing them that you care about them and that you are here for them during their most difficult times. It's telling your partner that they upset you, because you're able to tell them how you feel, and whatever can come out of it. If they're angry at you, if they're upset, if they're whatever feeling, like, you're okay to hear what they have to say. It's expressing your love with some uncertainty, because you don't know what's going to come back. It's all about asking that one question. Like, a lot of men are afraid to ask a girl out because they don't want to get rejected.
I'm just not sure.
And honestly, like, go for it. Like, if you don't know, if you don't ask, you'll never know. That's what I kind of live by. So yeah.
And if you ask 100 times, it still could work.
It still could work. But they're always afraid of that one rejection, so they never ask, and then they always end up regretting it. It's true. Saying sorry and admitting your mistakes, that's also huge. That's a tough point for everyone. Not only men, but just admitting your mistakes and apologizing is huge. So vulnerability again. Asking your partner for help, as we mentioned before, admitting that you need help is admitting that you can't do it yourself. And lastly is telling your partner how much you miss them. And this one actually shocked me, but that's
interesting. I didn't know that.
It's true, because it's like it's admitting that you're okay being by yourself, but you're also not. You're also better when they're here, and that's admitting again that you're not the head honcho, strong, independent guy that people
doesn't
need you to be. Exactly.
Every person, humans are sociable people, so we need the contact with other people.
Yeah.
And to make it real, to not make it like superficial, that's what we have to be. We have to get vulnerable. Obviously, not with the first person that we.
No, it's important
streets,
that you trust the other person.
You have to trust you have to trust the other person. But truth is, if you don't give it a chance, and if you don't slightly open up, then
you're never
gonna create the connection, and you're never gonna have trust. So
and that was my
that's
problem.
all steps, but that was my problem as well in a relationship. Like I wasn't trustful. I didn't know how to trust. I didn't want to get hurt as well. So I was just like, no, I don't want anything serious. I don't want a boyfriend. And it took a lot of convincing. And here he is, and here we are. So it's not easy, but it's just a lot of work on yourself, a lot of understanding where you stand, and a lot of like test and trial in the end. Like, go out there, be aware that you could get hurt somehow.
But that's just also the part of being strong. Is okay, you put yourself out there, and if you get hurt, you get hurt. It's all a part. It's all a part of life.
Courage is something that is being considered strength.
It's all a part of life. Like, you put yourself out there because you need to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. You're never going to advance through life without taking difficult decisions, without putting yourself out not to get hurt, because no one wants to get hurt. But you always put yourself out there on a pedestal, and whether you get hurt or you succeed, sometimes it's out of your control. But you need that courage, you need that strength, whether you're a man, woman, child, baby, like, whatever you are, you're always going to need to put yourself out there. And it's that vulnerability, it's that strength to say, okay, I'm putting myself out there, whatever happens, I'm okay with.
Also because, like, if you keep your emotions inside, at a certain point you'll explode.
Yeah.
In one way or the other. Might it be with drugs, might it be with alcohol, might it be just exploding with a person, and then to the extreme point going into suicide.
Depression.
And
never happy.
Truth is also, like, men, especially in this case, as they don't seek help, they don't even realize they're having the problem somehow, because they're just, not only they don't show emotions to others, but they don't show them to themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a double block there, and that's truly the risky part, and that's truly what should not overcome. At least show your emotions to yourself and think about yourself, and that already is a step forwards into understanding what to do.
No, I completely agree. Is showing yourself, showing emotions to yourself is really, really important. And again, in relationships, or whether it be a friendly relationship, a deeper kind of relationship, is you'll never really love someone else if you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can lie to yourself, and you can keep telling yourself, oh, I love this girl, but deep down, truly, if you don't love yourself, you're never going to be capable of loving your partner.
And this stands for any sex,
Any relationship,
anything.
And I think that's also a reason why, I don't know if I'm right here, but homosexual couples, they always seem so happy, and they're honestly, like, you see homosexual relationships, whether it be guys or girls together, and they're always so happy, they're always so in love, and I really think it's because they talk to each other more than heterosexual couples. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm no near an expert on this, but to me, like, from an outside perspective, this is what I see.
Mm-hmm.
They're always happy, they're always super close, and it's just like, what are they doing that heterosexual couples are not doing? And I really think it's they talk more about their feelings.
It's easier to connect, probably.
So, bravo, guys.
And Andreas, I know you wanted to share an experience that you lived in school.
Yeah.
Not even a year ago, actually. So, do you mind sharing that before our conclusion?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was probably a real turnaround for me. And I'll explain the story, and then I'll explain of what some people said to me, actually. And we had this exercise in our branding class with Yuri. We mentioned him in our Age is Just a Number podcast as well. So hi, Yuri, if you're watching. We had this exercise, and we had to write our obituary, which is something that you write when you die.
Well, not when you die.
Yes.
Slightly before.
No, it's what someone writes about you when you're dead.
Sure.
About your life, about your successes, about your failures. And so I read mine, and in the middle I just started crying. Like,
first of all, you wrote it, which is already a tough thing.
Writing it was tough, but for me it wasn't. Yeah. So meanwhile, there's 30 people in this class. 30? 40?
Yeah.
30, 40 people in this classroom. Some of which I have never really said more than a couple words to. Some of them were really close. She was in my class. And yeah, in the middle of it, I just couldn't hold back my tears, and I just started sobbing, and I was about to say crying like a baby here. Yeah, I just started crying, and so some of the class started crying, the teacher started crying.
I cried.
Everyone was sad, but like that wasn't the point, And the teacher actually said, Yuri was like, Andreas, I just wanted to thank you. That was such a beautiful moment. You allowed us all in, and that meant so much to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like me. I would have never thought that I would cry in front of 30, 40 people.
And make everyone else
75% of which I didn't know too well. Yeah, and if that's not vulnerability, I don't know what is.
That's for sure vulnerability, but as said, it was a beautiful moment.
And so many people came up to me, and they were like, Andreas, I never know you had that side of you. I really appreciate you reading that. You just made my day. And that's what it is, guys. Like, being open, being authentic, being honest with yourself, being honest with others, it's really what allows us to form that relationship on a deeper meaning, to form that connection, that human connection. Because if you're always fake with yourself, then you'll never be real with others. Yeah. And
it was a good.
And I've cried in school, like when things were going around with my parents or with my family. Like, I've cried on the terrace in front of my friends, in front of her. And like, again, like, people don't like to show that they're crying, especially in school, And guys, you never see them crying. Like, I've seen mostly girls crying in school. I don't know for what reason. They probably had a great reason to cry, but I've never seen a guy cry. And when I cried in school, I felt lame, I felt embarrassed because it's like, why am I crying in school? I shouldn't be crying. I should only be crying when no one can see me, and that is wrong.
That is very
That
wrong.
is very
indeed.
wrong.
I actually think I was probably the hardest to, like, one between the two. I was the one that showed less emotion.
Yeah.
So this shows also, I mean, yes, we're talking about male vulnerability. Truth is, it's applicable to everyone.
Absolutely.
In the sense, I mean, there's different pressures for both genders.
We're going to talk about women
it's-
empowerment soon, so stay tuned. I'm
Yeah.
actually really excited about
and
that
it's
topic
itself.
because of how good this
Mhm.
topic came out.
Yeah,
And
I loved it. I think.
Yeah,
I
we're
know.
done. Before we end, I want to end with a quote. So we'll say our goodbyes, and then I'll leave you guys with a quote. Thank you guys.
For
It was actually
listening.
fun to be a
I loved
guest.
it. It was really nice.
It's
It
cool to be a
wasn't
guest,
really an
yeah.
interview. It was more a discussion.
Yeah.
Then there were a couple questions in between, but I think it was very intense. There are a lot of information and a lot of thoughts here. So please share your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know.
Give
And
us. Sorry.
let us know if you've ever encountered this. For all of our male viewers, but
Mhm.
also female viewers. You know, like
course.
we're interested in what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're a guy growing up and you've been told these things and you're afraid to show your emotions, don't. You know, you may be called, sorry for my language, but you may be called a pussy. You may be called weak. You may be called frail, whatever it may be. You're not. You're actually stronger, and it's those people that are calling you those names that are actually the weak ones because they're not.
Bullies.
No, yeah, okay,
That's
they're
good.
bullies, but they're not strong enough to let themselves open up to others.
Mhm.
And it takes confidence, it takes strength, and it's the ultimate strength to open yourself up to others. So think about that when they call you those names. Again, give us a thumbs up, as you said. If you like this topic, if you like us, comment below what you want to see. Hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to leave you guys with a quote that really made me think about it. It's, vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weaknesses.
Boom. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching this, well, check that one out.
And if you like us, subscribe to our channel to see more videos and to keep posting.
Absolutely.